The pregnant woman walked out of the prison full of anticipation. Her fiancé had promised to come and pick her up, but she didn't see anyone. She thought her fiancé had made a mistake with the date, so she went to her fiancé's house. But to her surprise, a woman opened the door. She was stunned for a moment. The woman said her fiancé lived there. The woman said he had moved out 2 weeks ago, but he left a letter for her after he left. After opening the envelope, she found a greeting card and $5 inside, but there were no words for her. She realized she had been abandoned. At night, she shivered in the cold, wearing thin clothes. Helpless, she could only look for rental information. Then she arrived at a rundown slum. She spent $3 to rent a room. The people living here were all homeless. The landlord told her she had to move out before giving birth. Women were not allowed to give birth here. The next morning, he came to apply for prenatal assistance, but the staff saw that he was black, so they started giving him a hard time. It wasn't until the woman mentioned that his father was a veteran that the staff finally eased up. They handed him a stack of forms and asked him to fill them out. The $5 left by her fiancé was quickly used up. Helpless, she had to go out and sell things on the street, just to have a meal for the day. A few days later, he went to the baby supply store and bought a few things that the baby needed. However, when he returned home, he suddenly felt a severe pain in his abdomen.
You don't want to be born yet. You're just restless. Come back to bed with me. We'll keep each other warm.
Found the landlord. He said he needed a hot water bag to warm his belly, but as soon as he finished speaking, his water broke. The landlord saw this and cursed at him. He returned the remaining rent to him and told him to get out of here quickly, because this house is a dangerous building. If the relevant authorities find out, it will be demolished. The woman begged desperately, but still couldn't change the outcome. He saw a car passing by and wanted to stop it, but the driver saw that she was pregnant and didn't stop. She came to a house and knocked on the door, but when they saw that he was black, the man told him to leave quickly. Unfortunately, the heavens did not favor him. At this moment, snowflakes started to fall in his heart. She stumbled into the backyard of a house. She wanted to hide in the warehouse, but she found that the door was locked. She couldn't bear the pain anymore. Fortunately, the 2 nurses in the room heard her. They quickly walked out of the room to check. They saw the woman kneeling in the snow in pain. The older nurse took off her coat and put it on her to keep her warm.
Listen, my friend and I are going to help you. We're going to start by taking you somewhere warm and safe.
The old nurse puts the woman on her own bed, and she even changed her into a new nightgown. He quickly fetches the delivery kit, preparing to assist the woman with the delivery at home. Since it's the woman's first time giving birth, he seems particularly nervous. The old nurse comforts him, telling him not to be afraid. She can't remember how many babies she has delivered herself. Believe that everything will be fine this time too. With the woman's efforts, the baby is finally born safely. After the old nurse cuts the umbilical cord, she wraps the baby in a towel and hands the baby to the woman's arms. At the moment of holding the child, he feels extremely happy, and the nurses are also happy for him and her. Woman keeps expressing her gratitude to them. If it weren't for them, she and the baby would have died in the snow. The next day, the old nurse transfers the woman and the baby to the hospital. Until this moment, he can finally have a peaceful sleep. Later, his colleagues find the baby supplies he bought for the baby in the woman's rented house. Seeing this, the nurses feel sorry for him and he decides to do something for the woman. Then he finds the woman and takes the initiative to help her fill out the forms since she can't read, and applies for financial assistance. During the process of filling out the forms, he learns that, when the woman was young, his mother was sent to a mental hospital. Afterwards, his father even abandoned him at the welfare home. As a result, he lacked love very much, until he met his fiancée. He thought his fiancée would be different from other men, but he didn't expect that he would be abandoned in the end. Nowadays, he hopes to raise the child to adulthood. He won't let the baby lack love like he did. At the end of the story, the old nurse brought him good news. His subsidy was approved. They also found him a job as a caregiver. They even found a mother and baby shelter for him, and it was a shelter for single fathers.